Come on.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Check Engine Podcast. We're the only podcast produced by 3 two-time winners of IMSA's Spirit of the Race Award. We're hosted through Anchor.fm, and we are streamed worldwide on all those platforms you use to listen to your favorite podcasts. My name is Nick. My 2 good friends are joining me. Tristan is here, and we need to do a special shout-out. Our fearless leader, Andrew, has just celebrated a birthday. How was your birthday, man? Happy birthday.
Oh, thanks. I guess that this is the first
Sounds
year.
unenthused.
Well, okay, so I turned 32 this year, and this is definitely the first year where my imminent demise is now settling down into the deepest thoughts that I have. Soon I will perish, and what have I done on this earth? Nothing.
You've won the Spirit of the Race Award twice.
Yeah, that's something.
That's a good point. I have major accomplishments.
Yeah, quite the resume.
That's right.
Well, all right, never mind then. Maybe things aren't so bad.
And you've also managed to help maintain an upstart podcast for almost 3 years.
That is true. We are the punchy underdog.
Says almost 3, like 2 wasn't March. 26 months. Yeah, that's nearly 3 years.
Shut up.
This isn't about math, okay? This is a car
making
podcast.
Andrew feel better. I get it.
And we're boosting Andrew's spirits because he's feeling old.
I would say you'll see, but I just remember that both of you are older than me.
I was just gonna say, does it help that you're the youngest of the 3 of us?
A little bit, but no one told me that this was going to happen. No one warned me that this is what happens at 32.
It didn't happen for me at 32.
Well,
it happened to me at like 32 and 6 months.
If it would have happened for me, I would have warned you.
You got a couple months left of 32.
Yeah, Tristan's on the downhill side of 32.
Yeah, I'm just sliding into the pond at the bottom.
Your Jesus year. That's what it is. What are you going to do for your Jesus year? You going to survive the coronavirus?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Pretty good.
way to have a positive outlook on it, man.
Who knows is very funny.
I certainly don't. That's why.
Yeah. That is actually, man. In all seriousness, that is the number one thing on my list to do this year. Survive the coronavirus.
Must-do list of 2020. Maybe 2021.
Yeah, I'm starting small. Okay, wait. Actually, as we get into genuine car content, something else happened the same week of my birthday. I think maybe it was Friday, so my actual birthday. Car and Driver rendered out the Hyundai Santa Cruz, the new pickup, based on some keen-eyed observer saw the full shell of the full unibody shell of the Santa Cruz sitting who knows where. And so Car and Driver, with their excellent graphic arts department, went and mocked up the whole thing. And what happens if I really, really like this?
Then you can buy one when it comes out.
But I don't want to have low T, so I have to buy a truck.
Hey, what are you trying to say?
I'm only saying that everyone who drives a truck has low T. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Well, as long as it's not just me.
Yeah, you're in a comfortable group of friends.
The highest, the most sold vehicle in the entire world.
as long as it's not just me and it's an insult to everybody, it's not a personal thing. I'm fine.
But genuinely, I don't know if you guys saw the Car and Driver rendering. It looks amazing.
I have not, actually.
Is it the... I'm trying to find it. Is it red? Is that the render, or is it a different color?
It's blue. I can send it at some point, but obviously this not like it looks like a press photo, and I think what they may have done to make this is take a press photo of the Kona or Santa Fe and do some modifications to it, because it looks like a press photo for a different car, and it looks really, really official, but it has the car and driver branding all across it because it's not like real. They just kind of mocked it up based off the body. And they did a fantastic job. If it looks like this, they might be able to have some of my money.
Well, you already gave them quite a bit because you have 2 Hyundais in your garage right now.
Let's say more of your money.
Yeah, they could have some of my money for this.
Got it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to send it. I can't find it, but I'll take your word for it.
I'll do that. Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
I believe you because most of Hyundai's new stuff looks good.
Right. Yeah.
So I have a feeling I'm gonna like it. But we jumped right into pace laps, and we never actually talked about what like the main topic of tonight's episode is going to be. Andrew, why don't you tee that up for us real quick?
Sure, I can. Now, I think it was 2 or so weeks ago. This actually, if I'm remembering right, this was actually Tristan's idea. What were we talking about? I can't quite remember. At any rate,
it was the Nissan.
It was Nissan, and you said something about special edition cars.
Yes.
And so anyways, that just taking that idea wholesale, what we're going to talk about this week is special edition cars that should be made. So cars that are already on the market, models that already exist, but vehicles that some sort of special edition, whether it's, and I don't know what we're going to get here. Maybe it's performance editions. Maybe it's brands. I have one that's like a brand teamwork kind of thing, but that would make us these special editions would make us want to buy the car more than we currently do. It'd take it from like a loser car to a great car. You could take it from maybe even good car to dream car status. I mean, I don't know what exactly we're going to get here, but hopefully it's just a mix of ideas that these companies can use to better their product offerings.
I'm extremely excited to hear what you guys have come up with. I'm very happy with my picks, like not to beat my own chest a lot, but like I'm more excited about presenting these 3 options to you than I've been excited about presenting like anything to you guys in a long time on this show.
Really? Because a couple of days ago you were like, I don't know.
No, that was the thing. Like I started off when we first settled on this, I was like, oh man. Because not one time in my life have I ever thought about this. It's not like I had like a Rolodex of ideas that I could just draw off of. So I was just like, what am I going to come up with here? And then late Friday night, they just started hitting me. So I had very little sleep on Friday because I was sorting through all these. But
wow, this impacted your sleep?
Oh yeah, like I didn't go to bed till like 3 a.m. on which would be Saturday morning.
Oh my God, that dedication!
Wow. Yeah, nope, not me. Definitely a daytime activity.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's one of those things where like when it hit, like I didn't want to lose it. Like I wanted to get stuff down on paper and try to hash things out. I was just kind of rolling. I didn't want to stop. So.
Cool.
That's
I love
fair.
it.
So, yeah. Does anybody else have any other pace laps, though, before we hop into this? I mean, I've got a couple of neat cars that I saw this past weekend. I sent the message to you guys, but I didn't. I don't have any news. Anyone have?
I have news of our further recent demise. It's now been expedited by the state of Wisconsin, who has also joined the boat with, I'm sure, what is now many states who are not requiring driving tests for young drivers, or in fact, any first-time drivers.
Yes. And I think that news came out the day after we recorded our last episode where we talked about Georgia.
I think so too. But I do have the details from the Wisconsin DMV website if you want them, if you're curious as to what this actually is.
Yeah, hit us with it.
So when did I see this? Oh, you know what it was? I got these links in a renewal email. That's what it was. It was sort of like the and also thing. So requirements: you must be a U.S. citizen. You must have an instruction permit that is unexpired and has been expired for less than a year. You must have had the regular instruction permit for 6 months, violation free. You must have completed a driver education course and behind the wheel, and the records are on file with the DMV. I guess I don't quite know what behind the wheel is. Is that practical test?
No, that's the behind the wheel education, not like just the classroom, like you're sitting in a car with an instructor.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, that's good at least. You must have completed 30 hours of supervised driving, and you are required to have a sponsor who must provide their name, driver's license, all that stuff. And they are putting in a provision here that they may require anyone who takes advantage of this to take a road test later.
It's a provisional driver's license.
Functionally, it really is.
Why don't they just say we're not granting any new driver's license until this is over?
I mean,
like, where are these 16-year-olds going to go anyway?
Well, I mean, you can.
Where does anybody have
for, like,
to go?
Situations.
Yeah, I guess.
Also, I mean, these are probably the kids who are working at the grocery stores. Like,
yeah,
at least some of them.
Yeah, that's also another good point. Yeah, I'm swayed on that stance. Yeah, these are the essential workers we need. They need to be able to get.
They kind of are, though. Yeah, that's something.
I had the return of the quote unquote neat Chevy Cruze the other day.
Really?
Huh?
Yeah, a second appearance by the way over boosted noisy wastegate turbo Cruze.
Right. Forgot about that.
I got a picture this time.
Hooray.
Oh yeah? Send the picture so we can post it and maybe potentially make fun of it on social media?
Well, I mean, that would be harsh, but yes.
No, I'm all in for that.
Speaking of that,
Speaking of making fun of people on social media.
No, speaking of social posts, the picture you sent Tristan of your dad's Apple Porsche diecast has blown up on our social pages, by the way. That's been a hit.
Yes, I know. It's a great diecast.
And great livery, rightfully so.
It's just so good.
So
I'm looking at the picture of it right now.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know how it's done on Instagram, but I know Facebook it's been wildly popular in the short time it's been up. So I too, as I mentioned, saw some neat cars yesterday, both of them. So first one that went by was I'm trying to decide if I'm going to say the custom wrap made it worse, but it was a Nissan GTR. It was Godzilla, black rims, red trim, just along the very bottom of the splitter, there was red trim. And then the wrap it wasn't a digital camo where it was very small tiles, but it wasn't your standard camo where all the edges are rounded. So it was sharp edges, large chunks, but digital camo. So the gray, black, and white on the wrap. It was very unique. And then I also saw a bright fire engine red. Andrew, I thought of you immediately. I actually heard this long before it showed up because I heard it from 4 blocks away. It was the latest, the last generation Dodge Viper came rolling through.
Nice. And
I heard it for 5 minutes before I actually saw it. It was it was pretty epic.
That is great.
Nice.
And then I came to think you really don't see that many Vipers as far as sports cars or I see more R8s. I see more 911s. Obviously I see more Corvettes. Corvettes are pretty much everywhere given all the generations, but you don't really see that many Vipers around.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I think it's I think it's a car that people like the idea of more than people purchased, which is kind of why it's been in and out for its entire lifespan. You know what I mean? But then again, they weren't ever aiming to make it like I don't think they were ever aiming to make it like a mass produced kind of thing. It's hard to tell. I think one of the reasons people don't buy any is it's hard to tell what the intent of it is. Is it a drag car?
Yeah,
is it
it's like, what is this?
I mean, you're not taking it to the track. So is it a drag car or is it a cruiser? Is it just one of those things that you kind of point at and go, huh, big engine? Like, what is it?
I think that's everything that Dodge does. That is their purpose. Big engine.
Big engine.
True. Big engine.
G on the end. Engine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I like that car very much, but I definitely understand why it's not popular, quote unquote. It fits very interestingly into the uncanny valley of car fandom, where a lot of people talk a lot of noise about what they would or wouldn't do, and then never do or don't do any of it.
Never don't do any of it.
You know what I mean? We'll talk about that someday. We'll have an episode on that.
Yeah, for sure. Put that one in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to come back to later. Does anybody else have anything else, or we want to reveal our special edition cars?
Yeah, I think
I'm ready to go with the special editions.
All right, folks. So we're going to reveal our special edition car creations, but we'll do that right after this break. All right, we're back, folks, and we're about to get into tonight's main topic. But before we do, real quick, we'd like to remind you how to get a hold of us if you feel so inclined. We do have our very own website, like professionals should. It is checkenginepodcast.com. There we have an email address, inbox@checkenginepodcast.com. And we're also on all the socials. We just mentioned before the break how the Apple liveried Porsche post is doing well on socials. We're on Facebook. You search Check Engine Podcast to find us there. Andrew, where are we in the Twitterverse?
At Check Engine Pod.
And Tristan, if they want to find us on Instagram, what should they search?
Also at Check Engine Pod.
So there you have it, folks. Be sure to like, follow, share, post, DM. Just reach out how and when you can. You can ask us questions to answer on the air. Let us know what you like or dislike about what we're doing. You can give us topic ideas. I believe it was Travis reached out on Facebook and gave us a really good topic idea that's also relevant to the time we're in right now. So I think that's something we should do in the very near future. Thanks, Travis. And to get back to the show, this week we are going to we're each going to present 3 special edition cars. So they're special editions of current cars that would take it up a notch on our want scale, on our want meter. I was going to say, Tristan, you haven't let us off in a while. Why don't you kick us off? But it is Andrew's birthday weekend. So Andrew, do you wanna set the table for us here and get us going?
I'm actually going to make Tristan do it because not only is this his idea, and he hasn't started us off in a while, but I need some context here. I have a range is the problem that I have, because what I realized when I was doing this is that I kind of was tending to just make wholly new cars, which is cool.
Yes,
but not really the game. So I want to hear what Tristan's got, and we'll go from there, because that's going to determine how I envision this going forward.
Okay, well, I'm going to be of only moderate help because I have a few different possibilities. So would you like me to start with the more kind of like standard special edition, or the most outlandish one to give you the range? Okay.
Yeah, let's say the standard.
The most standard one for me is going to be the Audi TT Heritage Edition.
Uh-oh.
So the Audi TT has been, as we know, around a while, and it's either been, as you can up to you, if it has been the has received the benefit of, or has been subjected to some significant facelifts over the years, whether they've gotten better or worse, it's up to you. But they originally came out in 1998. So
has it been that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're coming up on something that I could see this not like this year, but when the 25th anniversary comes out, for example. So it was originally 1999 to 2006, I think, was the first model before it got facelifted. And so what I'm seeing here is kind of a return to some of, as a lot of these, quote unquote, heritage editions are kind of a return to the styling or some cue of the old ones, and they've been actually relatively consistent with some stuff, which is good. Kind of carry it all the way through, like the HVAC nozzles have kind of maintained their aluminum jet engine nozzle kind of look, which is cool. But then other things they haven't. The colors and the interior styling are kind of the big thing that I would go for. So that this is why it's kind of the most mundane one. It's just a cosmetic special edition without any major mechanical changes for the most part. So this would include, for me, bringing back some of the paint colors. I only know some of them. I was looking for like a repository of generation by generation what the paint colors were, but I've got pictures for reference that I can send you guys as to what I'm talking about. Some of these colors were only on these first generation TTs, and I haven't really seen them anywhere else. And I think it would be cool to bring some of those first generation colors back. Obviously, you guys know, near and dear to my heart, Aviator Gray. It's something that is often approached by Audi with Nardo Gray and a couple others, which in itself is a cool color. But I'd love to see Aviator Gray. There's kind of a like dark green blue color that, again, I couldn't get the name of these colors, but I haven't seen it on a generation since then. That's one of them. And then they still have these ones, but I think one of the other classic colors are the silver and red. So I think it would be optioned with two existing paint schemes, the silver and red, and two kind of throwback paint schemes, Aviator Gray or that kind of blue green, would be the available paint choices on them. And then they would feature, the biggest interior touch would be the return to the baseball mitt style stitching on the seats. And then obvious various badges and things like that to indicate the specialness of this edition. And what I would like to do is what I couldn't find out is actually see how many people were on the original TT's design team and make it a multiple of that number and have them contribute to a certain set of those cars. Like they all work on one or two or three to get to an adequate number, and contribute one of whatever their design touch was back into the car. And that would require a lot more, research and calling people at Audi, which I was not able to do for this podcast. But I thought that would be nice. It's like, yeah, I'm the guy who designed the little flip up plate that went over the radio. In my edition, they put that back in, or whatever. Like what was, like, you helped design the car, what touches did you put in and which was your favorite, which would you like to see back in the car, and it would be their edition basically as a subset of this.
That's actually a really unique idea. I'm sorry if I missed it as you were going there, Tristan. When you're talking Heritage Edition, is there going to be like more retro or back to the original body style on the outside, or is this just all interior stuff?
It would mostly be interior, just because I think it would be difficult to remake the entire car. You could do things like the Supra, where you could like change the headlight cluster, which would just be reworking some fascia. It depends on how big the run is. And not being a car manufacturer, I don't know if more cars or fewer cars is better. If it's a small run, if it's easier to customize a few with some throwback touches, things like that. But it's, I tended to stay away from exterior modifications for this one, because this was the one that immediately popped to mind when they talked about the anniversary edition Nissan from our previous episode.
Yeah.
I was like, what would I buy an anniversary edition of? And I was like, yep, it would be a TT. Just to like go with that. But you could even do things like, minor touches, move back to, instead of like the current TT and TTRS have the kind of like polygonal roll bars where they're just kind of like a lopped off pyramid at the top, but they're very square, and go back to like the rounded hoops, things like that, if you wanted more cosmetic changes. But mainly it was just the things that people talked about on the original TT as far as style goes were the colors. They were kind of unique for the time. Unless you were driving an electric green, Mercedes, which they did throw out occasionally, it was kind of a unique color palette, especially for German sports cars. And then the heavy use of aluminum on the inside, which is still there, so I couldn't really capitalize on that one. And the baseball style stitching on the seats. And those are the things that stick out to me. Those are the things I remember when I'd see them in the Audi dealer as a kid. And those are the things that would yank directly on the heartstrings and make me say, I want to go buy one of those right now. If I could get it in aviator gray with brown leather with the red baseball stitching, I'd be like, yep, I'm going to sell a kidney or something. I got to get one of those. So.
Hashtag fun Tristan's Audi.
Right, exactly. Nice. Back to that.
Okay.
So that's my most quote unquote normal special edition, the most likely one you'd see from an actual car manufacturer. Okay.
I can dig it. Andrew, do you want me to go with a basic one to provide more context, or do you want to take a stab at it?
Sure, go for it. Go for it.
All right, so I'll start with my most basic one as well. And this is actually where my ideas kind of started rolling in. So I was basically at an impasse for most of this week until my girlfriend and I went on a walk. We took our walkie around the condo complex, and someone had parked, and I had never seen it before, so it had to be someone, like a visitor. But there was a brand new, looked like fresh off the lot, 2020 Corolla. And I thought to myself, shit. Visually that car, did I beat you to it?
Nothing.
Well, visually, that car, especially this latest generation, is rather striking, but everything underneath is just kind of bleh. So I went and I looked on Toyota's website, and they've come out with a TRD Camry and TRD Avalon and TRD Yaris and TRD 4Runner and Tacoma and all these things, but there's no TRD edition Corolla. So that's what my first special edition is going to be, a TRD edition Corolla. We're going to take the new 4-cylinder engine that's coming in the 2021 Supra. It's a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo, 255 horsepower, 295 torques. This is going to be a 6-speed manual. We're going to put TRD performance, air oil filters, air box, brake system, exhaust, the sport tips, sway bar, strut brace, all the basic TRD parts you can order. Put them on 18-inch black wheels, the nine spokes. It's going to be the basic TRD color package, so you can choose either all black, or there's the two-tone versions with either white and black or red and black and silver and black. All of those have like red trim around the bottom. And this is going to be you can do it for the sedan or for the hatchback. So Toyota with a TRD edition Corolla hatchback would have a challenger for the Focus ST. 250 horsepower manual hatchback. And that's my first one.
If it still existed.
If it still exists. Asterisk there.
Damn it.
I like the look of that car, and it was just never, there's nothing, the guts of it were never really that great. It didn't really have any guts. So
it's kind of gutless in general.
Definitely, but it does
give it a little
totally
guts to match the looks. Yeah. And I would want to buy that car probably.
That would be great. Well, since that was basically my first idea as well, except I was going to, because clearly for some reason, Toyota has abandoned TRD as an on-road performance thing and gone with Gazoo or GR for everything else, except for NASCAR and trucks, I guess.
Yes.
Which is weird, but I was going to say do it with, obviously you'll never get that super engine, but just a nice little chunked up version of the engine they have in there right now, which is a 1.6, 1.5. Either way.
Something like that.
Give that a little boosty, get some horsepower on her, get some nice suspension, all that good stuff. That was going to be my first idea too, but it's okay. I have plenty in the kitty. For example, there's another small car that has been languishing for its entire existence. In fact, this car is in such a state currently that even though it was recently redesigned from the ground up, when you go to this web page, the sales picture of this car has nothing to do with the car. You don't even see the car in the picture at all. What you do see is some actress lady that other people would probably know, but I had to look it up. Brie Larson. So, of course, I'm talking about the Nissan Sentra. And I'm dead serious. If you go to the Nissan Sentra page, the official one, the first picture, the one right at the top of the screen, right below the MSRP, is not the car even a little bit. It's just a picture of Captain Marvel's face, which, did anyone even go see that movie? I didn't think so.
Nope.
I did. No one's surprised.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Is this going to be the Sentra Marvel edition?
Oh, God. No, but that's probably the result of something like that. Would be the real life result of something like this. No, what they need to do and what they've needed to do for as long as GTR has been around, which is 95 years at this point. That car came out in 1886, if you can believe it. They need to make a baby.
I can't, but okay.
They need to bring back the Spec V badge, the SER Spec V, and they need to make themselves a little baby Godzilla. So here's what I'm talking about. Nissan has never been your front runner in the hot hatch arena. They've never been looked up to. They've often been an also ran. They've also made very good, they've at times made very good cars that stayed well behind things like the SI. But there's no need for that because Nissan has proven that they can make a car if they ever, had the money, I guess, but
desire.
If they ever had the money to do it, they could make themselves a hot hatch that everyone else would be chasing because they do have a solid Japanese build quality. Their interiors are trash, but we'll talk about that. And more importantly, they have the technical knowledge to make miracles on the road if that's what they choose to do in that moment. So here's what I'm picturing. All-wheel drive, a turbocharged engine, maybe something even that's like in the Altima, so maybe something in the 2-liter range. Nice fat turbo, really, really good double clutch gearbox. Tied to that nice all-wheel drive, limited slip diff, all of the toys, and aim for something similar to the GTR that will whip the crap out of anything off the line in its power range. So I'm thinking 250 horsepower, thereabouts, and do the same thing with that car that you did with the GTR. Aim for the off the line speed. You're never going to be the fastest in a straight line, but make it time way better than anything else in its price range. Because right now, all of the cars in that area are pretty darn similar, with the exception of the Type R, which is kind of like the track monster, but looks ridiculous. So let's rein the looks in, and let's make sure that this car goes faster than its price point. And then just let the design speak for itself. Get rid of stupid Brie Larson. No one even knows who she is. I had to look her up, seriously. And let the car become something that it's needed to have been its whole life. Don't sit at the back. Bring the Spec V name back, and bring it back in a way that no one will ever forget.
Okay. Spec V, like it.
I mean, I thought about the Nismo thing, but
been wasted a lot recently.
Well, exactly. Oh, and also, Nick, you remember when we saw that was a few years ago at the auto show. We saw the Nismo Sentra that they had in the last generation. That the car was total ass, but the interior was really cool.
Oh, it looks so good.
Bring that back. That whatever microfiber, Alcantara, whatever it was, all over the interior.
Yep.
Just nice, simple gray, very clean lines, updated center stack. Bring all of that, and then bring the power and performance.
I am on this train with you. That would be so good.
That'd be my first one.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been weirdly disappointed by Nissan. I mean, it would dramatically improve my opinion of the car, and I might even buy one if they just managed to not disappoint me, much less impress me.
Yeah, exactly. I feel exactly the same way. They just can't stop.
If only it were true, though. If only Nissan could actually get out of their own way.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. Like I said, I'd be all over that. I remember that was one of my favorites from that show, was that Nismo Sentra. And then the specs came out later, and it was just such a freaking buzzkill.
180 horsepower. I will never forget that number. 188 horsepower. I was like, are you shitting me?
Yeah. Oh, everything about that thing was perfect.
Except for what they put underneath it. And from one of the most recognized and respected racing houses, in big quotes, in all of, car branddom. People know the name Nismo. That gets attention on race day. When you put out a model, you got to back it up with even the tiniest amount of balls. And in my vision, it has a lot more balls than just a little bit, and puts itself on the map in exactly the same way as the N did. Exactly the same way.
Yes.
That's fair.
100% agree. That's a good one. Well, all right. I think, Tristan, you're up again for round 2.
Yes. So my next one is going to be a lot of my special editions, except for the last one. That came into my mind were throwbacks, just because I feel like it's, everybody's riding the nostalgia train right now, and that's where my brain went right away. So this one, I think, can capitalize on a couple things. So this one can capitalize on the kind of chip on their shoulder that Americans have about Europe and everywhere else getting the better version of something. And also, that nostalgia hook. So what I envisioned was actually for whatever the next refresh, facelift, in this case it would be more than a facelift, for the Toyota 4Runner.
Oh boy, that is a car that could use an update.
Yeah,
right. Because it's one of those we kind of talked about, like what would make you go instantly buy one, that kind of thing. And I'm interested in them. I appreciate them, but there's not that like real drive to buy one. So I thought to myself, what would make you really, really buy one of those? So there's two critical components here. It's basically adding, like they do in the rest of the world, the Hilux name to it, and then it would allow that would allow it to split into the two forms that it took in its very first iteration. It had a predecessor that nobody cares about, but the very first one came out in model year 84 to 89. And it was called the Toyota Hilux 4Runner, and also the Toyota Hilux Surf.
Ooh,
okay.
And how I would differentiate the two were both of those were names for the same thing in different countries, but I would actually offer two options of them here, and the one would come more like the standard 4Runner is today, but I think what we don't get here is there are actually notable, still even to this day, notable mechanical differences between the Toyota Hilux and what we get here as the Tacoma. So I would try to bring as much of that over and make it, everybody likes to talk about with their Tacoma, oh, this is the truck that, the Top Gear dropped a building on and it still starts. It's like, yeah, it's not, though. It has a similar body, but it's not really the same car or truck or whatever. So the first one that I would say would be bring it up to snuff with the Hilux in the rest of the world. And then offer, and this is where, because I think I was going to what I had in mind is how many people are bringing back their classic SUVs right now. Jeep is in the process of reviving the Grand Wagoneer. Ford is bringing back not one but two versions of the Bronco, the regular Bronco and the Bronco Sport.
Bronquette
and right, Bronquette and Land Rover just, depending on where you are, either brought back or refreshed the Defender. And so I was kind of looking for how could another brand with a similar, SUV following kind of do the same. And this is kind of borderline, is it a special edition or is it just the next generation of this vehicle? So one would be the standard Hilux 4Runner, more or less like we know it today with the updated or improved, not updated, but the actual mechanicals from the Hilux. The other, a critical and fun feature of those original 4Runners was, much like the Wrangler and some of the Broncos, they had a removable top. It wasn't all hard shell. So they actually had kind of a short bed area kind of thing. And in my mind, that would be the one that I would label as the Surf, the one with the removable top.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So it would also come with all sorts of other, if it was a special edition, it would come with all sorts of other 80s throwback stuff. So crazy decal packages that look like the side of a gas station soda cup.
I wish.
Optional light bar, things like that would be the option for the, if it were an actual special edition. Obviously, I think a lot of that stuff would probably go by the wayside if it were the next production model. But I did think about that kind of thing. As if, let's say it was a special edition where they just make the next 4Runner, but they want to offer a special edition of it with the removable back top on the back. And they could make that one the kind of fun 80s surfer edition, and that was the one that popped to mind there. It would have the option of, I know they're not popular right now in the United States or in some other places, but it would have the Hilux diesel option available, as well as something that we discussed in a few of our episodes, a either plug-in or some other hybrid system for short distance off-roading boost. I think that would be something that we've talked before about how beneficial that is. So wide range of powertrains, and especially if it's going to be the special edition, bring back all sorts of 1983 era nostalgia. I don't think would hurt anybody as far as sales go, and some of it's kind of fun. Some of it's really cheesy, but some of it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good.
I can dig it. This isn't just a question for you, Tristan. Did anybody think about price point in this or no?
I did for my first one. I figured, yeah, I think my first one would have to come like 35, 38 would be the target. You'd want that to be your loss leader. And then as you did with the GTR, bump the price up until you probably got it into the 45 ranges where it would need to be probably to make like straight profit on a car like that, which would put it equal with the Type R. So you just got to make sure that it beats it off the line and you're golden.
Yeah, for mine, especially the first one, it was more of an options package more than anything else. So I was thinking, a limited price increase because the cost of the car is going to be the same, and then you'd be looking at maybe, $5,000 to $10,000, package option, depending on if it's just the if it's just like the color and the seats, or if it goes into specially signed editions by the original designers, whatever. You could if they're a very, very limited, if they're a limited edition versus a special edition, and how much of the things I had talked about get put in there, that would determine how much more. But I'd say starting at least 5,000 to 10,000 over base.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Whichever one you chose, because you could put it on, the 2-liter base TT, or you could put it on a TTRS for all I care. So,
right. Exactly. Cool. I didn't think about it at all, really.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I was just wondering if anybody else did. It's not going to change anything now.
Yeah, here you go. Very detailed explanations. No, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't. I feel bad now. So, without talking about price, I'll jump into my my second special edition, and this is the one that I think I am the most excited to talk to you guys about. This is the one that I'm strongly considering getting in touch with the manufacturer and being like, guys, you know what the right thing to do is here? Just make this happen. So, Audi announced not too long ago that, and you guys can help me out to nail it down exactly, but either 2022 or
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
What?
Do it to him.
Never mind. Keep going.
Either 2022 or 2023 is going to be the last year of the R8. So just hang on, Tristan. I think my special edition is going to help you out here. I think it's going to soften the blow.
No, because it's going to be the thing that I did.
Oh, really?
It's okay.
I think you're stealing mine.
We can both be wrong.
Well, I already stole Andrew's. So anyway.
Yes. Jerk.
So when you think about where the name R8 comes from, and the lineage and where this goes all the way back, obviously, to the prototype that dominated Le Mans in the early 2000s. It basically won from 2000 to 2005. 1 year it was disguised as a Bentley, but underneath the car was exactly the same. That set Audi down this path of the road car, and then the subsequent GT3 car and GT4 cars of the same name. So their success was at Circuit de la Sarthe. So for the final year of the Audi R8, let's make a special La Sarthe edition. And this is because the prototype was open cockpit. This is going to be for the Spider, the convertible version. And we're going to try to make this car as close to the prototype as we can in a road car. So the V10 performance engine right now in an Audi R8 is 602 horsepower. We're going to have the team bore out a couple extra millimeters so it matches the 610 horsepower that the prototype was. The car comes with a 7-speed transmission right now, 7-speed DCT. We're going to make the Lesarth edition a 6-speed sequential, like the prototype was. It's going to be, ceramic brakes, 20-inch wheels, carbon fiber engine compartment trim, carbon fiber front spoiler, rear diffuser, front sway bar. And the visual here is what I'm actually really excited about. So Audi's factory effort run by Yoast Racing was, I don't know the exact color, Tristan, you might be able to help me. I don't know if it's that aviator gray or if it was called something else, but it's that silver or gunmetal color, right?
Yes.
But to distinguish the different cars, the roll hoop, the mirrors, the rear wing were either red or yellow or black, or one of them I think was also just all silver, depending on the year. So what we're going to do here for color options is this car is available in silver, but the trim pieces, the mirrors, the rear spoiler, the blade on the side, the brake calipers, you can choose red, yellow, silver, or black, just like the factory team designated their cars. You can designate yours in the same way. And that trim goes into the trim goes into the cross stitching and the leather on the inside as well. So it can have the yellow stitching or the red stitching to match what's going on the outside. The Audi badge is going to be black rings. We're going to have, when the door opens, the beam that shines on the ground is going to be the S emblem. And right under the blade in front of the rear tires is going to be the Quattro, because this is still going to be an all-wheel drive car. Even though I don't think the prototype wasn't, but
no, it wasn't.
The one other thing I wanted to talk about on this car is in the headrests, in the same color as the stitching and your other trim, will be the track map of Circuit de la Sarthe.
Classic.
Nice touch. Nice touch.
So the Audi R8 La Sarthe Edition Spider. Audi, make this happen.
Well, now I want to hear Tristan.
Just shut up and make it happen.
So I have no problem. I don't have as much of a problem with that as I thought I would.
Okay, good. Well, good. Okay, good.
Because mine's slightly. No, it's not all hopeless, and mine is slightly different because it was less universally targeted. But we'll get to mine in my turn. But spoiler alert, Mine is also an R8. We'll go from there.
But Andrew, you're up. Number 2.
This is one that I thought for sure would come up. Do I want to do this one? I mean, I guess I do. But I thought it would come up for sure by now. A super easy one. And there's something close coming down the pipeline, but it's not the same. And they need to do it the old fashioned way, because so I'm on my walk route, or one of our many walk routes. There is in a driveway a lovely, I mean, they're all lovely and they're all in pretty good condition, Subaru Legacy Spec B. And so my wish is very simple. We just need it back. And the key, this sounds weird. And I know we talked about it after Chicago Auto Show. The biggest issue is not having the hood scoop on what was the Outback, Tristan?
Yeah, it's like the Outback XT.
What the heck was it called? Yeah, the XT. First of all, XT is not cooler than Spec B. I get that they rhyme, but Spec B sounds cooler because race car. Obviously, they need to rename that one the Spec B, and they definitely need to bring back the Legacy Spec B with the hood scoop. It's absolutely crucial. And the reason why I'm using this here, I mean, yes, it's very obvious, and it's sort of in the works already, they missed like the number one element to making a sleeper car. There has to be a giveaway for people who know. And
Right,
and
like the
that's
RS6's chrome side mirrors.
yes, there has to be a little something that's just for the fans. And I mean, the Spec B seems so obvious, and they're so close. They're almost about to done do it. But they're going to mess it up. And obviously, no one else in the world would ever care if they call it the XT or the Spec B. But it honestly bothers me a little bit because of it's unfair to give it Grail status, right? The Spec B, but it's a very respected car and a very respected name in an otherwise workaday unremarkable model. Like, people love Subaru,
right?
People love,
well reviewed, well loved, but not all that special in any way.
Yeah. And so that's really my wish for Subaru. They need to, they don't go 90% of the way now that you're finally putting the WRX engine in the, in your top selling vehicle where it should have been. Don't half-ass it at this point. Give me your whole ass.
All of the ass, please.
Because I don't know exactly which generation of Impreza this is, but it's the I don't know, I guess droopy eye one. if that makes sense. Like,
sure.
the front bumper has the cutouts for the headlights, where the bulbs are for the headlights. And there's just something about it. It's in maroon, right? So it's not like a very fancy color, not like a sporty color. And it's not the best looking car of all time, especially without the hood scoop. But once you add that, and just a little bit of ground effects, a little extra on the side, a little extra on the front lip. It's a really special car. It just looks so exciting and good and wantable. Like, it's very desirable.
Yeah, I feel like you'd also potentially sell a zillion of those.
I mean, they never sat.
Nope. Neither did the STI Foresters that disappeared off lots too.
Also true. Yeah. Right. And then, of course, give us more bring back Spec Bs and then stretch it across the line. That would be great.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, the world would appreciate that.
Yes, you're doing the world a favor here.
You're doing the work of the people, Andrew. That's what they want.
It definitely is. And I know we've thought about this before. It's so weird that it takes Subaru so long to listen or hear or care. I don't know what their issue is really, but
I think it's hard to care or listen. Maybe not care. Maybe listen when, like, everything you make just sells out all the time. Like,
definitely.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. So, I'm sure you're exactly right.
They can fall into that if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality.
Like, yeah, exactly. It's not that it couldn't improve, but it's not selling right now.
Do we need to spend all this time and energy to re-engineer or redevelop something, or can we just kind of sit and bro out for a while?
And that's what they did. That's what they have done. But yeah, please, let's bring back Spec Bs. Let's complete the circle.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good point. A little bit of member berries there, a little bit of nostalgia.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Boy, if you want member berries.
Are you going to give us some?
God.
Are you going to feed us some?
Yeah. Yep. So, this is like the Tristan Dudley special edition R8.
Wow, it's Aviator Gray.
This is only for me, and no, it's not. Shut up. That color goes on a TT. See. Quiet you.
You'll see. It's Aviator Gray.
It's not. You're wrong. Anyway, so this is very much like Nick mentioned. The the road going R8 came into existence because of the success of the racetrack R8, etc. For me, obviously, I always appreciated the, basically, unending dominance at Le Mans until the very end. But for me, that wasn't what struck the biggest note. That's not what made that car the most special to me, and probably to a fair number of other Americans. A lot of us get to see Le Mans on, what was it on, Nick, by back then, like Speed Channel or something?
Speed Vision.
Speed. Yeah.
Vision.
But to us, and maybe even you, Nick, probably the car you've seen the most, and the car that for me I have the most connection to because I actually got to sit in it, was actually the ADT Champion Racing R8 from the American Le Mans series.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. So this car would be, this is why I waited for this one, because this is the one I put the most effort into. This would actually be a very heavily massaged and modified version of the actual V8 from the race car, which is actually a hair smaller than the 4.2 liter V8 that ended up in the first road car. And obviously it's going to have to be, you can strike a balance between those two, but I think for, as we, closing the loop, coming full circle, putting a fitting cap on it, it came from the race car, and to the race car it shall return. And for me, this is actually a not a road going car. This is it will be legal, but it's not what it's designed for. It's kind of like the Porsche GT3s of the world and things like that. It's mainly meant to be a track day car. At its best, it'll be road legal. It'll still be all-wheel drive. You can drive it in the winter if you want to, but it'll mainly be designed for the track. Probably because some of the things that are going to make it the callback to the race car are going to be, not great for a road car. You could leave them out and make it a road car special edition if you wanted to. But for example, getting adequate power out of a V8 the size of the one in the race car requires significant exhaust work, most of it loud. So nowadays with newer technology, you might be able to massage that a little bit and make it a little bit easier on the ears. So that would be the key for me, is that it at least has a V8 power plant, even if the science doesn't work out and they end up just having to use the 4.2 liter V8. This would not be a V10 car. It sprang from the V8 and it's going back to that.
Okay.
And then it would be white with the red, yellow, and blue of ADT Champion Racing, kind of in the stripes reminiscent of how they came up the nose of the race car. There's a fantastic picture that I found of the front of the race car, and they're these kind of asymmetrical offset red, yellow, blue, yellow. It looks like somebody just kind of dragged like a calligraphy brush down the car. So that would be the color scheme for me. It would be white with the racing stripes is, a bit aggressive of a word, but the accent stripes down the side. Then the side blade would be actually not just Audi Sport North America red, but actually the Audi Sport North America logo. There'd be the rings and the text and everything right on the side blade in red.
Oh, okay.
That's dope.
This one would be, I didn't think to make it the Spider version because I was kind of thinking of more of a hard-edged car, so the Spider usually adds weight, but you could make it, what I was thinking is like, because it would be track focused, even if it was still road legal, you could make it like a lot of the cars, like the Ariel Atom and some of those where they just don't have a roof. They just have a little windscreen.
Do that, definitely.
So I didn't think about that, and Nick, when you said it, I was like, we could do that. So, so that was my last minute addition, was actually that. And then as an option, and then this would take some fiddling from Audi to make sure that everything was legal, you could get it with the full sponsor sticker pack if you wanted to.
That'd be great. So, could you get the number plate too? The ALMS number plate?
Yeah, you could, but it would be at least. But the ones that always stick out to me are the big Infineon on the side, the Canon on the top and right over the headlights, and the obvious ADT branding on the rearview mirrors and the nose, right above the rings. So you could, if you wanted to go full member berries and nostalgia, get the full sponsor sticker pack. And depending on which era, which race series, there would actually be different options for you, because a lot of them were the same, but then like sometimes they added Male, the chassis people. Sometimes it wasn't Infineon on the side; it was S-Line Sport packages. They sponsored themselves, all sorts of stuff like that. And basically, you could get your own chopped roof version that blends the race car and the road going car. I really like the Audi Sport North America, icon. That logo always struck me, and so that would be what I actually had lined up on the headrests, was the Audi Sport logo. So that would be where I was going with that. And that was mine. So, my version of what, Nick and I were kind of on the same page with, apparently. Giving it a proper send-off. But for me, the challenge was like, what would make you buy it immediately? And if I had the chance to not only sit in again, but own and then drive on a racetrack, an R8 that looked like that, I would stop at nothing. You could not stop me.
Could not be stopped.
That livery, the Champion livery, is sneakily popular.
It is.
It's almost like a cult following. Like, I've seen it. I get onto some iRacing events, either that I'm driving with the Check Engine podcast machine, or just like watching some of this stuff during the quarantine, and like especially on the sports car side of things, whether it be a Porsche Cayman or like the old Aston Martin GT1 that they have on iRacing, like someone every now and again pulls out the white with those. I almost saw them as like those stripes as like confetti or streamers. Kind of
like my thought was like the calligraphy brush, because they kind of like change thickness, but
yes,
but you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly. Yeah, and you see it popping up. It still lives on. I wish someone would bring it back in real life, like if someone like in GT Daytona or in the SRO with a R8 GT3 car would pay homage and pull that livery back out. I think it'd be fantastic.
So now that I'm a little sad, that's my last one.
Sad, Tristan. All right, so we'll roll into my third and final one. And this one I kind of challenged myself to think a little bit differently, because the first two were all performance based. I spent a little bit more time on the look of my R8, but it was all based on boosting performance as far as the innards go. This one here, I said, let's not worry about doing anything with performance, and let's just look at it through a different lens. So I went luxury for this last one. You see it all over the place. You've got someone who's successful enough to be able to afford like a Maybach or a Rolls Phantom or something like that. But those aren't cars you buy to drive. Those are cars you buy to ride in the back of. So they all have their own butler or driver or assistant or whoever it is to take them around.
Butler.
But, someone might be doing pretty well for themselves and want a piece of that, but not be able to afford a Rolls or a Bentley or whatever that car may be, or have their own driver on retainer. So I thought, well, how can we kind of have the same effect, but for a little bit less money? So
it's when you buy a Genesis, right?
Hyundai Kia. That's where I'm going, man. You're beating me to it. The Hyundai Kia group has always been good for more with less, more for less. So I want to propose the Genesis G90 Executive Edition. So again, performance and essentially looks.
Executive.
The performance doesn't change. It's the 5-liter V8 engine that all-wheel drive, 420 horsepower, that already comes with that car, or one of the options of that car for that car. Colors aren't going to change: white, silver, blue, gray, the dark Merlot red. Interior colors are the same, but we're going to do a lot of modifications for the back seat. The rear seats already come with high-def 10.3-inch entertainment screens or monitors. What I'm going to add, it's not going to be a cheapo one like you see on airplanes, but I'm going to add like a little mini fold-out laptop desk and either an HDMI port or a dock so someone can plug in and do work back there while someone is driving them. I'm going to add window shades if they don't already have them. I haven't sat in the backseat of a G90, but similar to what's in like the Kia Telluride, to the back seats for a little extra privacy. I am going to add, when that center console in the rear seats folds down, you're going to have like a Keurig machine in there. Little K-Cup machine. Get you some coffee. And of course, it's going to be a travel thermos, not open actual teacups or anything like that. But so you can have your coffee, enjoy some coffee on the way to the office in the morning. I'm also going to put a partition in with a little slider, kind of like a taxi cab. Maybe you're on a conference call and there's some sensitive business information that's being discussed that you don't want the driver to hear about, or maybe it's the mistress that you're trying to keep quiet. So you can slide that partition.
Yikes.
And just have complete privacy back there. But that brings to question, and this was my thought, is like, well, where does the driver come from if they can't afford to keep one on retainer? So this requires a little bit of explaining. My thought is that you can have, like, with this car, maybe you get like the first year of this service for free, but like a subscription service through Genesis where like the Hyundai Kia group would reach out to Uber and Lyft and say, in each one of your marketplaces, find us the most experienced, highest rated, tip-top drivers on your platform. And at a corporate enterprise level, Genesis will handle the paying of the Uber or the Lyft drivers or whatever company they decide to partner with. And then you have an app on your phone that is the Genesis app or the Executive Edition app, where you can schedule in advance, maybe a week, 2 weeks out, if you know, okay, I need to be in the office by 8 a.m. this day and leave by 5, and schedule all your appointments so you will have a driver there to pick you up in your car. If you don't want to do it, you can drive your own car. But again, this is for the people who want to ride in the back and either focus on work or relax or get driven around and have that executive or really distinguished elite taste of life.
All right. That's interesting.
Okay.
I'm kind of surprised that's not a thing already, but
maybe it actually makes weird amounts of sense.
It does. It really does.
Well, my first thought is Well, the idea was like, yeah, just get the best Uber drivers. And like, if you want to be driven around, like, they may be the best driver ever, but they're also driving a 2004 Cruise, like, so this kind of combines the plush, like I said, executive, what you think of lifestyle, and then involves the ride sharing. And yeah, maybe you buy the car, and for the first year, Genesis covers it. And then it's, a couple $100 a year after that. So all you have to do, you don't have to worry about tipping. You just schedule the appointments and go. And all of the payments to the drivers are handled through the partnership between Genesis and Uber.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
So that was my last one.
Man, this is flying by. So it's just me left, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. That's
Bring
it.
us home, birthday boy.
So, question before Andrew gets too far into it, though.
Oh, yeah.
Did anybody else have anything that would fall into like an honorable mentions category where you can just like give it a name and like 2 details and let the audience fill in the rest in their minds?
Yeah, I definitely did. Like 7 years ago, I don't think it might have been at least 5. Kia mocked up a Kia Trailster out of the Soul, like off-wheel drive, off-road, all-wheel drive, skid plates, blah blah blah, roof racks, and then just never made it because they hate everybody. What the hell could you possibly be waiting for?
Fair. Nick?
Nope, these are the only 3 I had.
All right. Do you have any more, Andrew?
No, that was my own. Well, my last remaining quick one, obviously the Corolla we talked about already. So yeah.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah. I had one, that was it was based on the, RS3. And it was the basically throwback to the Quattro. It would just be called the Quattro again. And it would have the, rear lift gate instead of the trunk. It basically just changed the slope of the glass, make the whole thing move versus just the trunk. And it would come in, the rally colors, performance upgrades, things like that. That was one. And then I also had a luxury edition, and this was the least thought out, but the luxury edition of actually the Telluride / Palisade platform. That one I was going with, trying to figure out how to make that a luxury armored car.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so those are the ones that I hadn't gotten to fully fleshed out yet, because I was like, I don't need that many, but I figured if we had any fun honorable mentions, it would be fun to do before Andrew brings us all the way home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Nice. I'm out.
Well, that's all right, because we're just going to stick right in the Hyundai Kia group, maybe. I guess what I have here for my last one is more a concept, more a thing that I'm shocked hasn't happened, but seems like a no-brainer. So back in the mists of time, there was an era called the 1990s.
Oh my.
And in that year, car brands were just partnering up with every random clothing brand you would find in a mall. So Eddie Bauer, Polo,
LL Bean,
basically anyone who made flannels got their own special edition car.
Filson,
which is kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah, no, there were tons of them. But and there have been kind of little collabs here and there from brands. There's that whole Victoria Beckham Range Rover Evoque thing, depending on who you talk to, she designed it or she didn't. But no one has had probably the money, I'm sure this would be expensive, to go to a small brand out of the Pacific Northwest called Nike and say to them, Nike, you make some of the most iconic and recognizable color patterns ever to exist across humanity. They have, whether it's that day glow green that they use for the ducks, whether it's literally any colorway of a Jordan shoe to ever exist. Why isn't a brand, and the reason I said Hyundai Kia is because I guess I drew the line, all right, Jordan basketball shoes, basketball official car of the NBA is the Kia. But more appropriately, it also kind of lines up with the Kia Stinger, which they brought out in some very cool colors, orange, yellow. They do a couple of things with the car, including that drift mode car that Tristan loves. So what I'm picturing...
Yeah, my very favorite.
Yeah, exactly. Why couldn't we have Jordan or Nike or Adidas or whoever it is, special editions of these cars that goes to the color on the outside, sure, but really speaks to the interior? Because one of the things that's so boring about Kias is the interior. It looks like this odd combination of rental car and play school. Like everything's chunky and it's like very functional to be sure, but it's not fun. And it's kind of like, don't you think?
Yeah,
that's kind of one of the things.
But
it's okay. I don't have anything seriously wrong with their interior. There's nothing to write home about, obviously, but it's not bad.
Right, yeah. So what I did to kind of prove this concept, right? I just picked a generation. I picked the Jordan 4 because that was a year where somewhere when they were making Jordan 4s, Michael Jordan owned a motorcycle race team. And so he had, there's Jordan 4s called the Motorsports and the Motorsport Aways. So we're just going to list off some of these colors and kind of the designs, and because I do think they all translate directly into a car in a way that would be very cool. So obviously any Jordan has what's called a bread colorway. It's black and red. I mean, a more classic color combo there has never been. So
certainly not for Michael.
Now, yeah, of course. Right. And now that red trim is the hotness, why doesn't Kia take it a step further, like a bread exterior? So maybe it's a red hood with a black, with the black body and just red on the bottom of the doors. Maybe it's around, the sunroof, that type of stuff. Or even a Motorsport, which was a white and like a royal blue, I think is what they'd call it. That could be really cool. Carolina's there's always a Carolina colorway. So that would be light blue, white with black accents. I mean, that would look great on the outside.
That I
also
like.
look great on the
that
inside.
Would be fantastic.
Wouldn't that be, well, you're a North Carolina fan, of course, Nick.
Yeah, totally. Because
another cool thing to, yeah, right. Yeah. Another cool thing to bring in would be the cement. So, they usually do like a blackened cement, which would be obviously, like say the car would be black on the outside, red interior, but a very solid and present gray color as accent on both the outside and the inside. I mean, just kind of get these colorways that are so recognizable. They're so eye-catching. Like Thunder is a black and yellow, which they've already done the yellow on the Stinger. Like, let's step it up a notch. Let's bring some of this style and some of this excitement in a place where it's just so badly needed.
And how can you find a way to tastefully, I don't know if I want to say subtly, but tastefully incorporate the swoosh or the Air Jordan insignia?
Jumpman?
I've thought about that a lot. I've thought about that a lot. And I think one of the issues in dipping into this is that, of course, is immediately the question. So I think you have to do it in one of two ways. And I actually think you have to do it in both. You have to offer it subtly. So maybe it's a metal swoosh on the doors or a metal Jumpman, right in the front quarter where they used to be back in the day. Maybe it's... then you probably have to go full on, whether it's a logo with a stripe on the bottom of the door sills or even a full hood size or roof size emblem. I mean, I think you have to indulge a little bit of everyone if you do this, because if there were a car like a Jordan, even if something like something really obscure, like a LeBron championship, right? So that was a brown leather shoe with calves color accents, so orange and maroon. We did like a maroon car with a chocolate brown interior. I think you'd really have to logo that thing all the way out. And I don't think people would be mad about it.
No, I don't think so either.
I'd love it.
What about, can we take this? I don't know how they would pull this off. I think it might have to be, now it's going beyond Nike though. Like it might have to be a deal with the NBA. Well, isn't Kia the official car of the NBA anyway? Like, isn't that their thing?
Yes, they are. Yep. That's why I kind of randomly picked them.
If they do like regionalized ones where like Kia dealerships in Wisconsin can do like a Bucks edition where it's like that cream city color with green and blue.
That would.
Then you get down to Chicago, it's red and black. Out in LA, you can choose the Clipper blue, red, white, and black, or the Laker gold and purple. Like, just do NBA editions and like regionalized for each team. You know, like Dallas would be the two-tone blue.
Cool. Yeah, where I was headed, thinking about Jordans as a thing, by their very nature, they're kind of like special edition shoes. For the most part, they eventually sell out. I thought it would be fun if they had this standing deal to make like 10 cars that that match every limited edition colorway that comes out, and once they're gone, they're gone. And then there'd be the option, like with the shoes, to like bring them back, but in like a modified color. Like the current one. You know more about this, Andrew. I saw one it's like a blue and black. Like royal blue and black right now, and like
it's actually called the Royal.
There you go. See, I saw like an advertisement, and it's like basically just saying like it's back. It was like but then it's like it's like the original colorway, but like turned on its head a little bit. You could do that even with like paint schemes on the cars. And I know that car manufacturing is a scale business, not necessarily like shoes, but I guess kind of like the shoes. You've got your everyday, like, hey, you want a pair of black Nikes to go to the gym in, great, buy them. Those don't run out, but here's our limited edition that matches this month's Jordan release.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I guess I probably didn't mention this, but if this were ever to work, there'd basically be your super, almost exactly like the shoes, your premier tier, very limited release, like you said, Tristan. Maybe it's 10, 50, 100 of these super special colorways in the cars, and then like a regular production that would probably be, a Royal, like you said, a blue or a black that gets regularly made. It might even be something like an all black car with an all blue interior, kind of flip that idea on its head. Or everyone, they always make red cars and they always make black cars, so those two colors are always going to be there. The Nike badge ones would just have the special interior or a special, even just a logo package. Like there's an absolute obsession for all this stuff, especially coming from Nike. And that's, I think, in a way how you could justify the supreme tier cars, by working it into the normal lineup in smaller ways.
Yeah, and it's not, I don't think it's unprecedented either, for them to collaborate in that way. It's not tied to a specific line like Jordan, but the Apple Watch Nike Plus series has some special watch faces, that kind of stuff, and they are limited. They don't make them forever.
That's a good point.
Right.
Yeah. And like I said, I do think Kia could use a little help on the look. Just get someone from Nike, because Nike has unlimited amounts of products and unlimited amounts of designers that design those products. Get the look ironed out a little bit. Take it to the next level.
Totally. It's a really good one.
No, thanks.
It's a really good idea. Yes, I wonder if people did actually approach Nike and they just turned them all down because they didn't need it.
Nah, we sell.
I don't think they need it, and I do think a partnership like that would be colossally expensive, because there's so much there's so much cultural cachet in Nike. I do think that if they, if there was a Nike line of the Kia Forte, they keep bringing that stupid Forte to every auto show for the past 3 years, and it's lime green. They're like, look at this, that'll never get put into production. I mean, literally just that. If that had a Nike swoosh on the back, way more people want that car.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
And I think you'd pay. As Kia, I think Nike would want a good chunk.
Think about this, Andrew, and I think about what you could do because you're talking about like help them get the look, especially with the interiors. Think about things like Flyknit seats.
Oh my god, the multi-Flyknit,
with, like,
the
the
multicolored
crazy
panels in the center.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna be able to not think about that. Oh shit, that'd be so cool. That would be its own thing. And now I'm picturing an all like they did with the I forget if it's the some Nike runners, an all blacked out car with those multi-Flyknit panels in the center of the seats and across the dash, the front of the dash. Just that'd be so cool.
Yep. Damn. Yes.
Full of good ideas today. We've got all the best ideas today.
It's been good.
Right. They're all trademarked and copyrighted and fully patented, so no one can take them or use them.
Very true. Consider that your warning. Your C and D right there. Just
you've been warned.
Don't even touch it. Don't even try.
Oh boy.
Well, awesome. That was a good way to wrap up the topic. Good idea, Tristan.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought it was going to be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Does anybody have anything else, or do we want to get the listeners out of here?
Yeah, let's get out of here. I think that's good.
I think that's a good way to kind of put a bow on this one. So,
yeah.
Good work, gentlemen. Very creative ideas, and to everyone out there, thanks for sticking with us today. We appreciate you listening, but we don't just want you to listen. We want to interact with you. We mentioned already how to find us online. You can email, you can hit us up on social, so please do that. Also, if you could be so kind, please be sure to leave us a review on your streaming platform of choice, preferably a good one. And also, it'd be cool if you could hit that subscribe button for us. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything to do besides maybe a couple seconds of your time, and you'll get notified of any new content that we put out. We appreciate that as well. It helps with that big podcast algorithm in the sky, as Tristan puts it. So it helps us out. If you're really, really, really into what we're doing and you'd like to support this podcast monetarily, you have two options for that. You can go to patreon.com/checkenginepodcast, or on our homepage at anchor.fm, you can hit the support button right at the top of the screen. And that's at anchor.fm/checkenginepodcast. Every cent donated is put towards making this podcast a better experience for you, the listener. None of it goes back into our pockets. So thank you. Thank you so much in advance for doing that. Who or what are we giving a shout out or thank you to before we get out of here, gentlemen?
Oh, come on, man. It's Mother's Day. There's only one option.
There you go.
Yeah, I would say there's only one option. We know that, right? Everybody, don't get in trouble with your moms.
I was just testing you.
No, that's her job, not yours, Nick.
Dun, dun. But no,
right,
big thanks to moms everywhere. I mean, especially now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
100%. So, yes, thank you to moms everywhere. I would like to do one quick special shout out. Not only is it Mother's Day, there's a birthday I'd like to call out, and not just Andrew's. So my girlfriend Claire is the second of 5 siblings. The first of 5 siblings in that family. Her older brother Joel turns 30 today. So Joel, happy birthday. Welcome to the 30 Club, and enjoy your day, man. Hope you had a good time.
I'll say, welcome to your 30s. It's all downhill from here.
Oh, totally.
Also, I don't know.
Things are going to start aching for no reason.
I think I might have mentioned this last week, but I think I might have mentioned this last week. I don't remember, but because there's been so little distinction between days now, I feel a little bit like, having just had a birthday, I feel a little bit like I haven't done anything for the past calendar year. Like there's just this monotony.
Even though it's definitely been really,
it's really weird,
just months. But yeah.
So
I'm still having trouble distinguishing what day it is.
Oh yeah, for sure. Unless I have something to do, which I did last week. Last week I knew every day of the week because I had, of all things, an eye doctor appointment on Wednesday. So I knew what day it was.
All right.
Well, there you go. So again, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Happy birthday to Joel. As always, thank you, listeners, for your continued support. We love hearing from you. We love recording this for you, and we cannot wait to speak to you again. But until then, take care of yourselves.